Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving into a developing story that, well, it has social media buzzing and news outlets scrambling. We're talking about the recent arrest of Grammy-winning artist Lil Nas X. It's a situation that's really captured a huge audience, and the details, they just keep evolving almost by the hour, it seems.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here, I think, is how just one single piece of visual media, this newly surfaced video, has completely, reshaped the whole narrative around what was already a pretty complex event.
Exactly.
So our mission today really is to sift through the facts for you, the speculation, and, the broader implications, just so you can get a real handle on the landscape of this unfolding story.
Right. We've got sources, mainly an exclusive report from URBTNews.com, and it lays out some, frankly, jarring details. A video showing Lil Nas X apparently in a state of complete nudity just before his arrest. It's a lot to process.
It really is.
And we're here to help you understand what's truly important in this deep dive. Let's maybe just get straight into what this footage actually shows, because that's certainly the core of the discussion right now.
Indeed. I mean, this visual evidence, it's undoubtedly become the catalyst for this current level of intense public interest. It's sort of altering the entire lens through which we're viewing the incident.
Okay, so we know Lil Nas X was recently arrested. That's the basic event, right, that kicked off this whole saga. But here's where it gets really interesting and, yeah, a bit unsettling. A newly surfaced video reportedly shows Lil Nas X stripped down completely shortly before his arrest.
Ah.
Yeah, and this isn't just some minor detail. It's like a revelation that has sent shockwaves through the internet. The exclusive report from URBTnews.com describes the sequence, highlighting this, well, very unexpected context.
And it's crucial to establish where this came from, the origin, because that gives significant weight to the claims. This particular footage, the one showing the artist undressed right before the incident, URBTnews.com says they obtained it exclusively.
Right, exclusively.
Which means they were the first ones to bring this very specific visually driven part of the story out into the open. They really set the tone for a lot of the discussion that followed.
And when we talk about the content, what's actually in the video, the report describes it as short but undeniably jarring. It apparently shows Lil Nas X in a state of complete nudity. And the setting, it looks like it might be a private residence. So not a public space, which immediately adds, another layer of questions about how it was filmed and why and the context. It's not just some candid street shot. It implies a more personal, potentially private moment being captured and now shared.
Precisely. That visual context is so important for understanding the sensitivity here. But what's equally striking, as our source points out, is what the video doesn't tell us, like the circumstances around how this footage was even made or why he was in that state at that specific moment. It remains completely unclear.
Totally unclear.
And this ambiguity, it just creates this massive void, doesn't it? That people are now rushing to fill with their own theories, their own interpretations. It's fueling a whole lot of speculation and, frankly, some pretty intense online debate.
Absolutely. And to make things even more complex, law enforcement authorities, well, they haven't commented directly on the video's relevance to the arrest yet. They haven't confirmed it, denied it, or offered any kind of explanation for how it might fit into their investigation.
Which is interesting in itself.
Yeah, this official silence, as the report notes, it's certainly striking given the timing. The video apparently shows something happening right before his apprehension. That alone is enough to make anyone, pause and wonder what's going on.
That silence from official channels is actually quite significant, I think. In these high-profile cases, you usually expect authorities to give at least a basic outline, right? Confirm the scope of the investigation, maybe. When they don't, it kind of inadvertently allows these other narratives, like the one driven by this very visual, very ambiguous video, to just dominate the conversation.
Right, without any clarifying context from the people actually doing the investigating.
Exactly. It leaves a vacuum, and, well, external commentary eagerly fills it.
And that leads us straight into how everyone else is reacting. Because the release of this footage has, pretty predictably, sparked a literal firestorm online, as you can imagine. It's just a complete deluge of comments, theories, and some very real concerns from the public.
And these reactions aren't all the same, which is an important point here. We're seeing a few different threads, lots of people questioning if the video is even authentic. Is it manipulated? Could it be a deepfake? Maybe. Or is it really him?
Yeah, that's a big one.
And you have another big group raising serious concerns about privacy violations, regardless of whether it's real or not. Just the fact that such personal footage exists and is being shared, it raises huge red flags about individual rights in this digital age we live in.
That's a crucial distinction, isn't it? It's not just about authenticity or privacy from like a moral standpoint. Some commentators, especially those with a legal background, they've immediately pointed out the potential legal implications of spreading the video itself. Like, who released it? Was it legal for them to do that? Could there be consequences for the people involved in releasing it or sharing it so widely? These aren't small questions. They really speak to the challenges of digital content.
And notably, on Lil Nas X's side, his legal team, they haven't issued a public statement about the video yet. This silence, much like the police silence, just adds to the mystery, doesn't it? It prevents the public from getting any official word from his camp.
Yeah, it keeps you guessing.
And while that kind of strategic silence is often, a calculated move in legal situations, especially when things are still developing, it certainly doesn't stop the public wanting answers or stop the speculation spreading. It basically leaves the narrative in the hands of the video, for now at least.
Exactly. So, with all this swirling around, there's one central question that really stands out. It's dominating the whole narrative. For you, the listener, this is what everyone's asking. Why was Lil Nas X in that state, specifically, just moments before his arrest? The new visual evidence gives us this really unexpected context, and that's precisely what makes this whole situation so compelling, but also, so confusing. The footage gave us a piece of the puzzle, maybe, but it's only deep in the mystery of the whole picture.
And this raises a really important question for all of us, doesn't it? In this era of instant digital sharing, how quickly can just one single jarring image completely reframe a public event? And what are the responsibilities, of both the people who share this stuff and those of us who consume it?
That's a good point.
The insight for you, our listener, isn't really to guess about the specifics, but maybe to recognize how this very ambiguity, amplified by instant sharing, becomes this powerful force, a force that often overshadows even the known facts of the arrest itself. It really shows our human need to complete a story, even when we don't have all the information.
It's a fantastic point, especially when you think about how little official info we actually have about the arrest itself. Because while this video has dominated the headlines, it's important we pull back and remember the anneal event, the arrest. Our sources describe the official reports as remarkably scant. For you, the listener, what does scant really mean in a case like this? Like, what specific info would we normally expect that we're just not getting here?
That's a critical distinction, yeah, and it says a lot about the current information flow. Usually in high-profile arrests, we'd expect at least, basic confirmation of the charges, maybe the specific police department involved, perhaps the location, a general timeline, the basics.
Right.
The current lack of even these fundamental details around Lil Nas X's arrest creates this, factual vacuum. And this vacuum is then just eagerly filled by other narratives, like the visual one from the pre-arrest video. It's an unusual amount of official silence, which, whether it's intentional or not, leaves much more room for theories and discussions to just take root. It also makes it harder to really grasp the legal basis for the arrest.
And that clarity is so needed, particularly when we start thinking about how this visual evidence might impact any potential legal proceedings. Legal experts are already, weighing in, suggesting the video could potentially complicate matters quite a bit. Now, it's obviously way too early to predict outcomes. The investigation's ongoing. But introducing evidence like this, so visually explicit, so contextually ambiguous, it's rarely straightforward for any legal team.
Definitely not.
It can raise questions about whether it's even admissible in court, how it was obtained, its overall relevance to the actual charges.
Absolutely. And this goes beyond just the specifics of Lil Nas X's case, though it's central to it, of course. The whole situation really raises these much broader questions about privacy in the public eye, especially for figures who live so much online. It also sparks discussions about public perception, in the age of viral content, and critically about the profound role visual media plays in shaping not just opinion, but potentially even legal narratives too. It forces us to confront how a single powerful image, even if it's incomplete or lacks context, can carry so much weight and really influence how the public and maybe even the legal system understand things.
It really does. The video's release has undeniably shifted the entire narrative around this incident. It's not just about an arrest anymore. It's about what happened right before the arrest. And that makes the question, why was Lil Nas X in that state right before being apprehended? Even more pressing, more central to the whole story. For you, the listener, This new visual information has brought a level of detail that was completely unknown before, and it fundamentally shifts the whole focus of the conversation.
Yeah, it creates a situation where the visual is just so potent it almost overshadows the official accounts of the arrest itself, however vague they might be. The why behind the footage becomes the main driver of public talk, drawing attention away from the more traditional legal and procedural stuff. It just highlights how easily one emotionally charged visual can dictate a public narrative, especially when official information is scarce.
So as we try to kind of distill all this for you, our listener, let's break down the key unanswered questions. These come straight from the frequently asked questions section of our source material. These are the fundamental points that are still ambiguous, even with this video out there. First up, what exactly happened to Lil Nas X?
Well, from what we know, officially, Lil Nas X was recently arrested. That much seems clear. However, the exact circumstances around that arrest, including specific charges or the events leading right up to it, they're currently under investigation. They haven't been fully disclosed. That's the core fact we have.
Okay. And the next big question, the one driving so much online chatter, why was this particular video released?
Yeah, the source of the video, who released it, and the motives behind releasing it, that remains entirely unclear right now. There's no official statement from whoever put it out there. No one's claiming responsibility, which, again, just deepens the mystery and invites all kinds of speculation about where it came from and why it's out now.
Right. And just to be crystal clear, for context, what does the video actually show, according to the report?
The exclusive report explicitly states that the video shows Lil Nas X completely nude shortly before his arrest. That specific visual detail is what's really shaped the current public conversation.
So given all that, what are the potential legal implications of this footage for Lil Nas X in his case?
Well, the video's legal implications are currently being assessed by experts. Its potential impact on the legal proceedings is uncertain. You know, how it might be used as evidence, how the defense might challenge it, even whether it was legally obtained and shared in the first place. Legal teams are definitely looking at this from multiple angles, but any definitive statement right now would just be premature. It's too early.
Makes sense. And finally, a very practical question many people are asking. Will Lil Nas X face any additional charges? Maybe specifically because of this video or the circumstances it seems to show?
At this point, it's just impossible to say definitively whether he'll face any additional charges related to the video's content or the events it depicts. The investigation is ongoing. Until that concludes or more official details come out, any predictions are just pure guesswork. What's fascinating here really is how much remains unknown, even with such a, dramatic piece of visual evidence circulating. It really forces us to acknowledge the power of partial information and how quickly that can dominate a public narrative, even when the full context is completely missing.
So what does this all mean then? We've explored the bare facts of the arrest as we know them. We've looked at the swirling speculation generated by this newly surfaced video. And we've touched on the critical legal and ethical questions this deep dive into the Lil Nas X situation brings up. It's a story that's still very much unfolding piece by confusing piece with pretty significant implications.
It's definitely a potent reminder of these enduring themes, isn't it? Privacy in the digital age, the powerful, often instant influence of public perception, and the significant, sometimes just overwhelming role that visual media plays in shaping how we understand events. It really encourages critical thinking about every bit of information we see, especially when context is thin on the ground.
Yeah, it's a powerful illustration of how quickly just one piece of content can redefine a public figure's story, for better or for worse, and how much can be inferred or maybe misconstrued when clarity is just not there. We'll definitely be keeping a close eye on this as more details hopefully emerge from the investigation or maybe from Lil Nas X's team.
Absolutely. The full story as it stands right now is far from complete.
So for you, our listener, maybe consider this. In an age where almost everything can be recorded and instantly shared, often without permission, often without clear context, how do we as a society balance the public's understandable desire for information with an individual's fundamental right to privacy, especially when those lines become so incredibly blurred and a person's most private moments can potentially become a global spectacle overnight? It's a question that really extends far beyond any single celebrity's arrest, doesn't it? It touches the very fabric of our digital existence.